The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome. This is TVWAN News. I'm Carol Kidu Jr.
And I'm Tracy Pa. Join me later for sports.
In this edition, National Museum and Art Gallery closed, new police recruits lacking discipline, and Orchids coach still confident. The PNG National Museum and Art Gallery has been temporarily closed following a health and safety investigation that uncovered critical ventilation issues, prompting immediate intervention from government authorities. Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Belden Nama, addressed the situation during a tour of the museum and announced funding support from TPA to be allocated to repairs. On October 8, 2024, the PNG National Museum and Art Gallery was ordered to close after a health and safety investigation conducted by the National Capital District Commission revealed severe ventilation issues. The museum's air conditioning system had been non-functional for over 4 months, causing unsafe working conditions and risking damage to over 300,000 priceless artifacts. Around 80% of the staff had been forced to stay home, suffering from heat exhaustion and respiratory problems due to poor air quality, while the remaining staff were primarily focused on security. At a press conference held today, Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture Belden Nama and Tourism Promotion Authority CEO Eric Mossman Uvovo addressed the closure and outlined the immediate plans to resolve the issue. Nama expressed concern over the management crisis within the museum, pledging to fix leadership disputes.
I am now appealing to the management within the National Museum to respect the decision of the government of the day. And secondly, with the aircon issue, and in this note, I want to announce to the people of this country that Tourism Promotion Authority is now making available 100,000 for immediate release to service provider to fix the air conditioning and the water into the museum so that the staff can return to work.
In an effort to address the immediate concerns, Nama announced the release of 100,000 kina from the Tourism Promotion Authority to fund repairs to the museum's air conditioning system. Nama instructed the museum's management and the National Cultural Commission to collaborate with TPA to find a suitable contractor to expedite the repairs. TPA CEO Eric Mossman Uvovo also highlighted the significance of the museum as a key tourism asset, noting that many international visitors make the museum a priority destination. He acknowledged the leadership issues at the museum, which had delayed necessary financial support, and reinforced TPA's commitment to assisting with the repairs.
This is a national asset, and for the tourism industry, the museum in itself is an icon tourism product. Most of our visitors that comes to Port Moresby, they want to visit this place because it tells the story of who we are, what we are, our culture and our history. So having this very significant and important institution being shut down is a concern to the minister. And that is why the minister decides to bring all of us, our agency heads, together so that we can try to help.
The swift response from both the Tourism Promotion Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture aims to restore the museum's operations and preserve its national treasures. Frontline officers have been urged to continue mentoring recruits by instilling in them the core functions of discipline after they pass out from the Vomana Training College. Director of Curriculum Development, Senior Constable Graham Wikila, said this when testifying during the Commission of Inquiry into the RPNGC's January 10th civil unrest today in Port Moresby.
The breakdown of discipline in the force has prompted the Director for Curriculum Development, Senior Constable Graham Wikila, reminded frontline officers such as the Provincial Police Station Commanders, Provincial Police Commanders, and members of the rank and file to continue instilling discipline in recruits after they complete their training. Wikila said this is to ensure that discipline is implemented ethically and effectively.
Frontline on the street, our frontline supervisors, we really need to look at that very critically because that is where the downfall of discipline comes in.
He said currently the level of discipline has dropped because police officers approach a situation in a wrong way or are influenced by officers deployed before them to be involved in activities that they know they are not supposed to.
Discipline has gone down a bit. It's because of the way we officers approach situations out there.
Wikila said the curriculum they used for recruits training comes with an effective discipline component, but it is the output after the training that is causing an increase in the turnout of discipline in the force. Meanwhile, the Assistant Commissioner of Police for Training, Peter Phillip, in sharing similar sentiments, said discipline in the force has been practiced since the establishment of the force, and it is still effective to this day. However, he said it is only the implementation that is causing a serious breakdown of discipline in the force. Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
An increase in vacant positions in the police force has prompted the COI Commissioner, Justice Eleanor Batari, to question where is the barrier was in filling those funded positions. Batari said this when the issue of unfilled positions was again brought up by a witness at the inquiry today.
When asked by the inquiry about the strength of his directorate, the Director for Curriculum Development, Senior Constable Graham Wikila, said there were 8 positions created. However, only 3 of these positions are currently filled while the others are vacant. COI Commissioner Justice Eleanor Batari inquired further as to why these positions were not filled.
Occupied.
3
positions.
Out of 7 or
out
8?
Of 8.
Out of where the difficulties are, it's part of the police constable is facing in this case.
Batari further asked Wikila to clarify if the right process was followed as the head of the directorate to sort assistant from the HR directorate to recruit. Wikila said attempts were made through a submission sent to HR since last year to recruit, but that was not implemented.
I have made a request.
Have you made
Thank you. I made a request already, sir.
Yeah, so how long ago did you make the request?
That was last year.
Last year. And how long have you waited for the answer?
Well, this makes it another year. A year to wait.
Additionally, Wikila said due to the lack of manpower, most of the training syllabus are outsourced. Should these positions be filled, the directorate will cut down on outsourcing syllabus and can run their own syllabus when conducting recruitment training.
We outsource from the college itself, resources from the training to help develop the books, training materials, syllabus for the college.
Yes.
Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Nicodemus Mainga, a 39-year-old farmer from Mendi village, East Sepik, Mandi, ECIPIC represented Papua New Guinea as a young innovator at the World Food Day event in Bangkok, Thailand on October 7, 2024. Selected by the Food and Agriculture Organization under the EU Straight PNG program, Nicodemus showcased his agribusiness Monks AG Trade Services Limited, which uses digital platforms to export vanilla beans. He highlighted how e-commerce has transformed his community, securing international buyers from Australia, Canada, Singapore and Malaysia. His efforts underscore the power of youth leadership and digital innovation in agriculture, driving growth and sustainability in rural Papua New Guinea. Prime Minister James Marape has conveyed his best wishes to grade 12 students across Papua New Guinea who will be sitting for their final examinations from October 14th to October 18th, 2024. This year, a total of 32,863 grade 12 students from 225 secondary schools and 6 national schools of excellence will undertake these crucial exams, marking a significant milestone in their educational journeys.
Prime Minister James Marape, when wishing grade 12 students all the best in their final examinations this week, commended them for their hard work and dedication, encouraging them to remain focused and give their best effort as they conclude their secondary education. He urged them to approach their exams with confidence, knowing that they have worked hard to reach this point. He also expressed gratitude to the teachers, parents and guidance who have supported these students throughout the year, highlighting the importance of their guidance and encouragement. The Prime Minister further reaffirmed the government's commitment to education as a cornerstone of PNG's development and stressed the importance of fostering an environment where young people can thrive academically and personally. He said the government remains dedicated to ensuring that young people are equipped with the knowledge and skills they need to contribute to the nation's future. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
This is TVWAN News. After the break, PNG confirms participation at World Expo and Missionary's dying wish fulfilled. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSP Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyam Yumi.
Right across the nation, we eat snack crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Have you guys seen it? Bro, it's awesome, man. Really? Wow.
Superstition ain't the way.
Welcome back. The social communications sector of the East Asia Oceania recently hosted an online session on AI in evangelism, led by Father Paul Aldrin Dunga. The session, part of the online School of Formation on Communications, brought together 36 participants from various countries, including Salesians, sisters, lay people, and youth. Father Dunga demonstrated how AI tools can enhance youth ministry by refining concepts, creating materials, and streamlining event planning. Participants shared their positive experiences with discussions also addressing intellectual property and privacy concerns. The next session is scheduled for December 12, 2024. Papua New Guinea will not only have a pavilion at the World Expo in Osaka, Japan next year, but has also secured a commercial space outside the Expo site to display and market its products and services. Set for April next year, Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru announced this today in Port Moresby.
Minister for International Trade and Investment Richard Maru has announced that the government has made an important decision to secure a commercial space by providing 3 million kina funding in principle in the budget for next year to make this possible with the support of the private sector and state-owned enterprises.
I don't have to tell you, Papua New Guinea is the biggest island nation. We are half of the South Pacific Island population, and we cannot just go to Japan in a small way when they are a big market for our products, and they can be even a bigger market in the future. It's really up to us to leverage the opportunity and market PNG in a very powerful way. We will also have the opportunity for over 28 million people working through the Expo site in Osaka, Japan during the 6 months, and also we can market ourselves online 24 hours a day with all our goods and services and really use this opportunity to promote PNG in a very, very big way.
The Expo 2025 in Osaka, Japan will pave the way for the birth of new technologies and products that will help improve the convenience of everyday life.
I think we should use the opportunity to go and market ourselves and also work with the government of Japan to have a formal bilateral trade agreement between our two countries. We haven't even started. It's taken us 50 years. Those discussions have never happened. Why can't we do it? Why can't we leverage the opportunity that the Osaka Expo is now presenting us to start talking to Japan about deepening the trade investment relationship between our two countries? I think it's a great opportunity.
Under the leadership of Commissioner General for Section PNG, Ambassador Gabriel Lusaba, the National Expo Secretariat is actively working with all key stakeholders, including government departments, provincial administrations, the autonomous region of Bougainville, and the private sector to ensure Papua New Guinea's successful representation at the event.
And so the reason for engaging the provinces and the different government agencies for that they participate, they play a role, and they bring something back in terms of experience and what products they want to expose, what image they want to give of PNG. The money, the manpower, and the determination. If those things are not there, then we won't make it. And for me, as Commissioner General, I'm not here to fail Minister Maru. I'm not here to fail the Prime Minister. I'm not here to fail our government. And I'm not here to fail Papua New Guinea.
Meantime, the National Cultural Commission hosted the 5th interagency meeting this week, where the committee discussed and finalized the format for PNG's participation in the Expo. In addition, the Expo Secretariat, in collaboration with the private sector, will establish a subcommittee in the coming weeks to further discuss the specifics of private sector participation. Maricela Kelaton, TVWAN News.
The cremated remains of late Pastor John W.J. Hewitt was flown into Port Moresby yesterday afternoon, coinciding with the Christian Apostolic Fellowship Church's 70th anniversary. Late Pastor John W.J. Hewitt of Melbourne, Australia, served in Enga from 1962 to 1969, and his dying wish was to have his ashes brought back to the country and be buried in the place and among the people he loved and served.
Late Pastor John W.J. Hewitt of Australia arrived in PNG as missionaries and served in Mamale, Layagam District, Enga Province from 1962 to 1969 and was the pioneer missionary of the Christian Apostolic Fellowship Church in PNG. He passed away peacefully on December the 10th, 2022, and his cremated remains were flown to Port Moresby yesterday afternoon, escorted by his children, Dale Hewitt and Ruth Swift. Deputy Chairman of the Body of Christ, Pastor Michael Wilson, acknowledged the guests, late Pastor John's children, and the ashes of the late missionary at the Port Moresby Jackson's International Airport.
We recognize and remember a special person who had called by God to come to us in Papua New Guinea, and particularly to Enga Province, and to settle in Laigan. What a calling it was.
Son of late Pastor John W.J. Hewitt, Dale Hewitt, shared that his father's dying wish was to have his ashes brought back to the country and be buried in the place and among the people he loved and served.
I think it's very significant, sir, that you welcomed us, because it is not about a denomination. It is about Christ and Him crucified, and the message that is preached faithfully by many denominations in this country. And for that, I'm very grateful that you welcomed us. So whilst he was a minister, a pastor in Australia, coming to Papua New Guinea was the emergence of the apostolic gift, the pioneering gift, the one of being able to go where the gospel had never been preached before, much like the Apostle Paul that we read of in Scripture, and actually go to various places where people had not only had never seen white people, but they had never heard of who Jesus is. And so that is when the apostolic ministry, the pioneering ministry, was birthed. And so it is only fitting that he would want that the place of the birth of his apostolic ministry would also be the place where he would be rested.
There was a memorial service today, and the ashes will leave for Enga Province to be buried on Wednesday, the 16th of October. The welcoming of the late apostolic missionary coincides with the Christian Apostolic Fellowship's 70th anniversary. Jasmine Rajak, TVWAN News.
Member for Kandap Don Polye, on behalf of the people of Enga and the PNG government, welcomed the arrival of the ashes of late missionary Pastor John Hewitt, together with his children. He emotionally shared that this is the first of its kind for someone who served in the country to be wished to come back and be buried in PNG.
I am also touched. I was observing Pastor Wilson when he said you were emotional, and yes, I share the emotions because rarely do we politicians come to this kind of programs where we receive ashes, because politicians and public servants and business people don't send ashes here. I'm in the space where I resonate with business people, with other politicians, with diplomats, with public servants who come to work in PNG and so forth, and they don't send the ashes. So I've never had experience of receiving ash on behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea. This is the first of its kind I'm making.
The Vabukori Women's Development Association celebrated the graduation of its 2024 participants from the Table Transformation Program over the weekend, made possible by the support of ExxonMobil PNG. The 11-week program focused on personal growth and leadership, with participants learning to apply core values to everyday challenges and become positive influences in their communities. Graduates were tasked with leading a Good Values of Servant Leadership program in their groups, guided by John C. Maxwell's 7 Steps to Success. The ceremony concluded with a motivational message on the power of choice in shaping one's character and leader. During the 16th missioning ceremony at the Divine Word University on Friday, October 11th, keynote speaker Dr. John Momis was vocal about the Constitution and the state of the country in this day and age. As a constitutional founding father, Dr. Momis recalled how the country's constitution was created and how they came up with the 5 national goals and directive principles before 1975, along with the country's trailblazer, the late Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare.
The national goals and directive principles of our Constitution are quite unique. There is no country in the world, apart from PNG, that has a national goals and directive principles.
Before becoming a politician, Dr. John Momis was a seminarian during pre-independence, and it was during those times which he got to know about social justice. He unwaveringly spoke about how, with little political experience, he joined the Constitution Committee that came up with the 5 national goals and directive principles: integral human development and freedom from every form of oppression, equality and participation, national sovereignty and self-reliance, national resources and environment for current and future generations, and Papua New Guinean ways. Dr. Momis stated that the country has shifted back to the colonial days, with everything now being centralized in Waigani. He wants to see decentralization take place and that each province is empowered to create its own laws unique to its cultural diversity in order to generate its own revenue. He said this was practiced in the past. However, he believes that human empowerment is the least of this government's priorities at the moment. Dr. Momis stated that the Constitution was for the people to have equal participation in the country's development.
The CPC's intention, the Constitution of PNG, was not only concerned with righting the wrongs of colonialism, rather its principal aim was to unleash the inherent dynamic and creative forces within our people into building a just democratic society. That's what we've done. Because we are a bunch of slaves. We are dependent on handouts. Some are dependent on something on the stealing that I'm saying people who own the resources are missing out today. What are our educated people saying today?
Dr. Momis now wants to see the government of the day restore the human dignity in its people so that all Papua New Guineans become truly independent.
And now we take a look at the finance news. The kina closed lower at $0.2543 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2468, $0.3640 Australian dollars, $0.2186 euro, and 36.63 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, palm oil, and copper closed higher. Gold, cocoa, and crude oil closed lower. And copper closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed higher, and all ordinaries closed higher as well. You're watching TV1 News. We'll have news making news from abroad when we come back.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Open nets.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Buying PNG made.
In its first 10 years, the PNG LNG project has had a long-lasting impact, contributing more than 26 billion kina to the state of Papua New Guinea. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to the IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
These two are creeping into your personal space. Why don't we send them packing? Oh, maybe not.
Bing bang bing, bum bum.
Welcome back. Residents near the shipwreck of a New Zealand Navy vessel in Samoa say they have lost income from fishing and tourism and want compensation from Wellington. HM New Zealand S. Manawanui sank off the southern coast of Samoa's most populous island, Upolu. Officials in New Zealand have played down Samoan estimates that 200,000 litres of diesel had spilled into the ocean as a result of the shipwreck. New Zealand authorities say they are working towards mitigating any further environmental impacts and say it's too early to comment on whether they should provide compensation. The Food Bank Hunger Report found outcomes had improved during the past year for high and middle income earners, but dropped for lower income households.
Disability pensioner Tony Ottens and her husband Rodney have shared thousands of home-cooked meals with the needy. But as prices rise, it's getting harder.
I'm only putting one. I used to put two. Doesn't need two.
They say these hot meals are needed now more than ever.
People are struggling a lot more than what they ever used to. There's a lot of times I will go to places and the shelves are just empty. There's nothing there.
Empty kitchen shelves is something food charity Food Bank has been tracking. Its latest hunger report reveals 3.4 million Australian households are experiencing food insecurity.
And 2 million of those are in the severe category. That means that they are making compromises on what they are eating, when they are eating, or even skipping meals and going entire days without eating.
The report found in the past year more than 1 million households had completely run out of food and didn't have money to buy more. It also warns that while food security is improving for high and middle income earners, it's getting worse for households earning less than $30,000 a year.
We know when it comes to economic shocks and natural disasters, low-income households suffer first, worst and for the longest, and that is exactly what is playing out.
The rising cost of food and housing was identified as the leading cause of food insecurity. followed by reduced incomes or government benefits. ANU Professor Ben Phillips says increasing the rate of job seeker would be a quick way to ease the pressure of those struggling with food budgets.
So increasing that payment, which goes to the lowest income Australians and those most likely to be in poverty and financial stress, that would make a lot of help to those people.
Half of those struggling to feed themselves said shame kept them from seeking help, while a third said they didn't think they deserved it or were eligible.
There is no shame in asking for help, and that's exactly what we're here for.
Help that continues to be needed.
Israel continues to bombard northern Gaza in what has been described by aid workers as one of the most intense operations since the war started. Now there are fears that Israel intends to empty Gaza's north of civilians in line with a controversial plan put together by former generals. Residents and refugees in the city of Jabalia are entering their 11th day under fire in a renewed push by the Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, that it said came after intelligence that Hamas was reforming in the area. The IDF has told people in the north to move out of the area for their safety, but a Gaza man told the ABC the fighting made it hard to leave. Days later, he said bodies lie in the streets of Jabalia, which is home to one of Gaza's largest refugee camps. He said that due to the siege, residents could not get to the cemetery, so people will bury their children in the streets. Dementia is the second leading cause of death in Australia, and a diagnosis can often lead to isolation as the illness becomes overwhelming for those living with the condition. But two Gold Coast community groups are leading the way to help change the attitude surrounding the condition.
Getting crafty to calm the mind.
Keeps me busy.
Bob Hall was diagnosed with dementia 6 years ago. An arts program run by his aged care home is helping him deal with the illness's frustrations.
The loneliness or the difficulties that it creates in cognitive matters. And if you can just forget about those things, you can still enjoy life.
This choir is made up of people with dementia and their carers.
Music has its own magic, and singing together is proven to have all sorts of beneficial effects.
The Gold Coast is home to 10,000 people living with the cognitive disease, meaning the appetite for dementia-friendly activities is high. As the choir has grown, so has its impact.
One lady, for example, is totally non-verbal, and she simply smiles.
421,000 Australians have dementia, and that number's set to almost double by 2054.
It can be quite isolating. People don't know what to say or what to do.
Being creative and socialising is key to improving the quality of life of people living with dementia. Proving a diagnosis doesn't mean life is over.
People can live really well with dementia.
New South Wales Independent MP Alex Greenwich has defended his move to scale back legislation designed to provide stronger protections for the LGBTQIA+ communities.
In addition, his last wish was to have his gender recognised on his birth certificate.
And he was absolutely petrified when he was dying that his death certificate would also list him as female.
But New South Wales is the only state which won't let people change their gender on identity documents unless they've had reassignment surgery. Independent MP Alex Greenwich and his backers want to change that as part of a broad-ranging bill that aims to better protect the LGBTQI community.
This week is an opportunity to be on the right side of history, to finally remove the archaic, cruel and discriminatory laws that impact on members of our communities every day.
But Mr Greenwich has dropped several key sticking points opposed by religious groups, including banning private schools from discriminating against gay or transgender teachers and students.
Our members are also an important group who need human rights, so we are bitterly disappointed.
The MP says he's being pragmatic because the government won't support changes to the Anti-Discrimination Act while it's under review.
It breaks my heart that I've had to take out these reforms, which I have worked on my entire political career. But in the interest of achieving what we can today, I have scaled back my bill.
The Premier has given the watered-down bill his seal of approval.
Alex Greenwich's amended equality bill, I think, should pass the parliament.
But his Liberal counterpart is not yet convinced.
The rush is very disappointing. I got a very heavily marked up bill on Saturday night. We're digesting that at the moment and we'll be considering that in the party room.
Alex Greenwich hopes his bill passes the lower house of State Parliament this week, but it's facing a rockier passage through the upper house where there are several outspoken Conservative crossbenchers, including former One Nation MP Mark Latham, who's previously tried to introduce a bill banning discussion of gender diversity in classrooms. A heated debate ahead.
And that ends the news segment. Sports is next. Stay tuned.
Hiya, Mama. You wait them, but me add him special flavour.
Put in more flavour, put in more taste. Magic kakaro, get up and big smile on face. Time for kimchi and a great kumutu. Sip, sip, da mumu, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves. Rugby League is a powerful force that unites Papua New Guinea and develops our youth. Through partnerships with the PNG LNG Kumals, Grassroots Rugby League and Justin Olam, we aim to instill skills to last a lifetime.
I'm community blue. When it's on you walk him, I'm a community. You must all community.
When we invest in people, we invest in tomorrow's possibilities.
Dreaming for more than the life we've known. There is more to what the future holds. You me holy man, no walk one time. Oh, 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 oh. We dare to believe in incredible things. Oh, 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 oh. With money plus we're ready to go. Enjoy life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Harem talk young or roll the scale rice family meal with talk. We'll bring out the smiles cause it's a favorite by miles. Seni sigola scale rice low scale price. Seni sigola scale rice low scale price. But you like him?
Give me go if you're watching in Papua New Guinea tonight in Nisa Bulabanaka in Fiji. We are underway.
What a score that is! Mexico back up to the ground. Oh
Welcome back. The PNG's Prime Minister's 13 women's side suffered a humiliating 50-0 defeat at the hands of a star-studded Australian PM's 13 women's outfit on Sunday, creating skepticism about how they will fare at this year's Pacific Championships. PNG Orchids will for the first time compete for the Cup against top-tier countries. Australia and New Zealand Orchids play Australian Gillaroos on Friday at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane.
While the focus is now on the Pacific Championships, coach Tani Norris is not panicking and still has a lot of faith and confidence in the national team Orchids to be competitive at the championships against the top-ranked nations Australia and New Zealand in the women's division. In the Women's Cup division,
While it's a work in progress for the former Australian Test player, Norris would use Sunday's PM's match to adjust and amend a final team for their first hit-out against Australia. Speaking after the match, Norris said despite the blowout score, she was particularly impressed with the girls' great fighting spirits shown throughout the contest, something they should take as a learning curve against a tough Australian side. Norris said they did some good defence in the middle, but need to be better on the edges.
Really tough Australian side that we're up against, and they got us in that first half. They played some really good footy. We didn't adjust quick enough, and it's something the girls are learning throughout the whole week. We did some really good stuff with the groundwork and our tackle through the middle of the field. We just got to get better on our edges. So, came out in the second half, had a really good chat at half time, and got some things right. And they only put 2 more tries on, which I was really happy with in the second half. So.
Norris said this is the start of their campaign for the Pacific Championships, with more emphasis on learning, getting the basics right to be better, especially more about defensive systems, and if they can do that, they'll be a better team overall.
Really tough Australian side that we're up against, and they got us in that first half. They played some really good footy. We didn't adjust quick enough, and it's something the girls are learning throughout the whole week. We did some really good stuff with the groundwork and our tackle through the middle of the field. We just got to get better on our edges. So, came out in the second half, had a really good chat at half time, and got some things right. And they only put 2 more tries on, which I was really happy with in the second half. So.
PNG Orchids coach is expected to make some big changes and additions to Sunday's lineup before they meet the Australian Jillaroos at the Suncorp Stadium on Friday. Orchids' second game will be against New Zealand on the 3rd of November at the Santos National Football Stadium, Port Moresby. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
Powerhouse forward LC Albert headlines the Santos PNG Orchid squad for this year's Pacific Championships, with a 21-player squad named for Friday's kickoff at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane.
The players are in camp in Brisbane to prepare for their Pacific Championships campaign against the Australian Jillaroos on Friday, October 18. PNG takes part in the Pacific Cup Challenge across the next 2 months, with the Orchids playing matches in Brisbane, Port Moresby and Sydney against Australia and New Zealand. Joining Albert in the Orchids side are National Rugby League women's experienced players, including S.A. Bano and Sareka Moka, who spent season 2024 with the North Queensland Cowboys, and Ua Rava, who is signed to the Canberra Raiders. Experienced centre Belinda Guasamoon makes the lineup as well. The PNG Orchids team, dominated by the PM's 13th side, was put to a tough test ahead of the Pacific Championships against the Australian PM's 13th side last Sunday. The players put in a commendable effort against a more experienced Australian side, going down 50 points to 0. Despite the loss, heads are up for the Orchids outfit for Friday's game. Susan Oriape, TVWAN Sports.
PNG Rugby Union Inc., through its board, has served a notice of ban on Capital Rugby Union President Corey Chang from rugby involvement effectively immediately in a special media conference held at the PNG RU headquarters, Sir Hubert Murray Stadium today. PNG RU President Paul Siwai explained the decision has been made by the PNG Rugby Union Board on the 4th of October 2024, following recent action which has brought significant disrepute to the game of rugby and caused embarrassment to the national team.
Using the notice of ban to the media today, PNG RU President Paul Siwai explained that Chan's action was a selfish act that denied athletes the opportunity to compete at the international stage, adding it is a crime against this country.
It has a constitution. Everything you do must be guided by the constitution. You don't operate outside of it. You want to come to the office, be part of the office, come to the constitution. The constitution will guide you how to get in and out of rugby, how to operate rugby.
Siwai further explained that the recent suspension of PNG RU from participating in Oceania-sanctioned tournaments and attempts to stop the PNG-RU auditing process and other related incidents to sabotage the PNG-RU programs and make rugby look bad in this country. He said the new PNG-RU board met on the 4th of October 2024 and unanimously agreed to ban Corey Chan from any involvement in rugby. He said while they have got nothing against CRU being the best-run competition in the country at the moment, they have a good executive team there that can continue the great work in the interim. Siwi said the ban means Corey cannot get involved in any rugby activity, let alone talking to sponsors and other stakeholders involved with rugby.
He is banned from getting anywhere near rugby, or participating, talking to rugby, talking to sponsors, talking to anybody in rugby. He is no longer allowed to. As the mother body, with the powers vested in me and the board, we have hereby banned him. We stop him completely from participating in rugby.
The reason for his ban, as highlighted in the letter, states, "Your conduct has further led to the suspension of our national team by the World Rugby, preventing us from participating in international competitions. This suspension has not only damaged your reputation, but also deprived our athletes of the opportunity to compete at the highest level." It continues, "Given the severity of the situation, the PNG Rugby Union Board has no choice but to take this decisive action to uphold the integrity of the sport and ensure that such incidents do not recur. You are hereby prohibited from participating or attending or even involved in any rugby-related activities in Papua New Guinea." In compliance with the Constitution, the PNG-RU conducted and concluded successfully on September 5, 2024, with the current executive unanimously voted back into office for another term by 5 association members out of 8, with 3 boycotting the meeting and did not vote. The election was proper and followed guidelines of the PNG-RU Constitution. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Tourism Minister Belden Nama has expressed strong support for Prime Minister James Marape's initiative to have a Papua New Guinea team join the Australian NRL competition by 2028, following Sunday's Prime Minister's 13th game between Australia and PNG. PNG Rugby Football League Chairman Sandis Saka also shared his enthusiasm, highlighting the significance of the proposal.
This joint push to bring the NRL to PNG symbolizes a new chapter for sports and tourism, setting the stage for the world to witness the spirit and unity of Papua New Guinea. On the significance of the sport and how it unites the country, Tourism Minister Belden Nama has reaffirmed the Prime Minister's statement that sport is something that unifies the country. Nama said the Prime Minister is absolutely right when he says that sport is unity in diversity in PNG. Minister Nama emphasized the synergy between tourism and sports, noting that from a tourism perspective, sport is about tourism as well. Tourism is about promoting sports. He continued, the NRL coming into PNG is a big time that will have families, friends and supporters come to PNG from all over the world to see their favorite players in action. PNG RFL Chairman Sandis Saka reflected on the significance of Sunday's game, stating Sunday's game was broadcast live throughout the Pacific through Channel 9 and Foxtel as well as Sky TV in New Zealand, with the attention on PNG that day. Saka added, this heralded the beginning of what we will be like in the NRL. Digicel through TV1 also carried the program live throughout the country. He said the ground staff were tested to the maximum as they had to work to broadcast times because this was watched live across the world. He was proud of the ground staff for delivering the event as well as the players for coming together to showcase what sport meant to the nation. Saka expressed gratitude to the Australian government and the NRL for partnering with the PNG government. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
That's it for sports, and now the weather forecast with Carol.
Southern region, Port Moresby partly cloudy with chances of brief evening showers. Daru mostly fine then partly cloudy. Kerma partly cloudy with occasional rain showers with possible thunderstorms. Alotau partly cloudy with periods of rain and possible thunderstorms. And Popondetta partly cloudy with chance of few afternoon showers. Momase Lay mostly fine then partly cloudy with chances of evening showers. Medang partly cloudy with chances of few afternoon showers. Wewak partly cloudy with brief afternoon showers, and Vanimo partly cloudy with chances of a brief afternoon showers. New Guinea Islands, Lorengau partly cloudy with chances of few rain showers. Kavieng cloudy with periods of rain with possible thunderstorms. Kokopo and Rabaul partly cloudy with few evening showers and possible thunderstorms. Kimbe cloudy with few rain showers and possible thunderstorms, and Buka mostly fine then partly cloudy with chances of evening brief showers. Highlands, Mount Hagen cloudy with periods of rain and possible thunderstorms. Goroka, Barnes and Kundiawa cloudy with afternoon or evening rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Mendi, Tari and Wabeg cloudy with some rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Ocean forecast for PNG areas for the next 24 hours. Coral seas smooth to slight with southeast to northerly winds of 5 to 20 knots. Solomon Sea slight with north to northeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. Bismarck Sea slight with east to southeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. And Pacific Ocean slight with east to northeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. And coastal waters forecast. Waters of southern PNG and Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Islands, to Kerma to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samari Islands, and waters of West New Britain, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Samari Island to Cape Vogel and Old Millen Bay Islands, waters of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finchafen, waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and waters of New Ireland to East New Britain to Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters of Finchafen through Vitias Strait to Siasi and Long Island, and waters of Medang to Wewak to Vanimo and northern PNG and Indonesian border, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And that ends another edition of TV1 News. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.